I feel like I'm gonna slide.
What's going on? This is your girl Tanisha Peoples, along with my homeboys Jason B. Allen, and Nehemiah Frank, and we are a trio that talks that real shit. Happy Monday, happy survival of the weekend. Well, not survival of the weekend. If y'all pushing through Monday, we surviving another work week, and live through the weekend. So today we have two very special guests, some powerful ass parents, y'all, with the National Parents Union. Maritza Gurdy. She is a Pennsylvania delegate with the National Parents Union and also a council member. And Tashir Cosby, who is a proud Newarker mother of three, grandmother of three, and organizer, a New Jersey delegate and council member with the National Parents Union. I want to give y'all some space to tell us a little bit more about yourselves, about y'all dynamic as work and parents and grandparents and all that stuff.
Okay. You want to go first, Maritza?
Sure. Maritza Gurdy, mother of 6, grandmother of 1, wife, sister, friend, cousin, loud lady down the street. Pennsylvania delegate, specifically dealing with Philadelphia and surrounding suburbs, state of PA. And I'm gonna give it up to my lady up top, Ms. Cosby, to introduce herself.
Hey, Jersey house. Maritza's originally from Jersey. We keep trying to woo her back to Jersey. I don't know she loves PA, but Jersey is in her heart. We keep trying to bring her back.
Yeah.
So, hey, everybody. Tashir Cosby, native Norker, proud Norker, mommy of 3, grandma of 3, organizer, activist, big mouth around the community, big mouth in the school. Mama, just mama to so many, just not even just the 6 that I have, but mama to my family, mama to my community, CEO of Parent Impact, and just really happy to be on the show today with you guys. I'm so excited to be here to talk about all the things we're going to talk about.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We just want to take a second to pay respect and homage to Breonna Taylor, given the grand jury results. So y'all take a couple of seconds and give it up to our Black women. All right, y'all. Protect Black women. We are under assault. Our Black men are under assault. Our Black kids, Black babies are under assault. So protect all Black people. But I think that the conversation around protect Black women it's getting attention now, but it hasn't gotten as much attention before, especially when we see Black women being abducted and just sexually abused and physically abused, violence. So yeah, protect Black women, protect Black people. I just real quick want to, since we're on the subject of Breonna Taylor, just everybody go around and talk about how you felt when the grand jury decision dropped.
So I wasn't surprised, right? We in the Black community, we've been seeing this for years, and I think some of us are unfortunately desensitized to just even seeing it on social media, seeing the verdict come back as not guilty. But I'm angry. I'm always angry because it's always justice denied. We are always the one who are out here being killed in the street, have our rights stripped away from us, even rights that we do have, not being protected, police officers not following their own rules when it comes to Black communities. So I wasn't surprised, but I'm always angry.
Yeah.
As a woman, as a mother of Black children, I can't even fathom what has gone through the heart and mind of every mother that has lost their child, every parent that has lost their child needlessly, because people are not thinking. They're too quick with that firearm. It left me numb and angry as well.
Yeah,
things have to change, and no amount of money is going to make up for it. I don't care. No amount of money is going to make up for the loss of your child.
No, can't bring her back. Yeah. Cannot bring her back.
Neo, Jason, how y'all feel?
Yeah. So, I'm thankful to Jason for taking me in, since, arriving in Atlanta and going to meeting the People's Uprising. Today, I actually went and got some photos from this new billboard that was put out to honor Rayshard Brooks, but also Jamarion Robinson, who a lot of people don't even know about. And here it is, another Black mother, you know, begging for justice for her child who was murdered on another no-knock warrant. But what makes this situation just heartbreaking is the fact that, you know, Jamarion Robinson received 76 bullets to his body. And I think the reason why the story kind of went under the radar was because it wasn't filmed. But the medical examiner pulled 76 bullets from this boy's body.
That's ridiculous and just unconscionable.
Right. And so, unconscionable. Yeah. Like no value for human life whatsoever.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are so many stories like Breonna Taylor's that are out there. We never hear them. And to me, I was expecting, of course, the same thing that everybody else that's online is expecting for Breonna Taylor to not get justice, but to see the walls, right, get more justice than this Black woman. Like we still have a long way to go. Like we're not even 5/5 of a human being if that's the case. We're not valued as that.
You know, Neo, that reminded me, the story you told about the young man, that reminded me of how it's like modern day, how they kill Emmett Till. Yeah. You know, like
that's what his mother said.
That's exactly what his mother said. He said that today at the press conference. She said, "My son is the Emmett Till of the 21st century." Yeah. And she did. It felt like lightning had gone through my body.
Yeah.
Because hearing a Black woman say that, there's no words there's no argument to be had after that.
Yeah.
Very true. My thoughts are, you know, not shocked at all about what has happened, but disgusted with the state of America. Yeah. We are in the year of 2020. I can go back and I mention this often about my great-grandfather's journal and, you know, having great-grandparents that were born in the early 1900s and seeing the things that they wrote about, their struggles for wanting to read and write, and dodging and hiding and, you know, trying to avoid the brutality of the police. This has been going on in America. And I'm disgusted at the fact that we have this many HBCUs that are thriving, the growing number of Blacks with PhDs and who are educated and nonprofit leaders and, you know, school leaders and, you know, business owners and CEOs, and, you know, how we're growing in America. And we're still in a place where the police can blatantly kill Black women and then use a Black man as a pawn to say that her life is goddamn irrelevant because they shot at the wall. Right. And it's the hypocrisy that, again, we allow these systems. Yeah, we understand that everyone that's kinfolk ain't kinfolk, but we also fail as educated as we are to see the historical manner that they have positioned Black men to be in, to consistently tear down Black women, and then to have retired basketball players get on national fucking TV and say that it is a Black woman's fault. Wake up, Black men in America. I'm writing something right now. Dear Black men, I'm tired of it. It is absolutely ridiculous to see Black men being used to tear down Black women, and we are all under attack. We are all under attack.
Yeah. We can't never trust a Black man who's lying and ain't together anyway. And anytime you see a Black man who's lying and to just shoot the hell up, you know, it's like,
I mean, right.
Probably one of those kinfolk that ain't kinfolk.
That was great. Yes.
But I don't have
absolutely right about that.
I mean, you know what? That means that he getting his haircut at Supercuts. That's what the fuck that means.
around his people. Around his people.
Because or at the Kmart, because you know there are some Kmart still around.
Yep.
Oh Lord.
But I don't mean to make light of the situation, because I wrote a piece on Breonna Taylor last week, and about how the system has been assassinating our kids from the beginning in the education system. You know, they've been slowly killing our kids, and then when they can't kill them, like through education, they kill them through violence. And I'm been getting hate mail from this lady named Michelle Hollis. This white, we found her. We've been looking for her. So this lady is, yes, and she sent me an email and she called me lazy and uneducated. She said that Breonna Taylor is a piece of shit, and come to find out, this lady is a teacher in Memphis. And so we have been trying. We've been trying to track this lady down so we can get her fired, because obviously if she thinks that Breonna Taylor is a piece of shit, she thinks that the black girls in her classroom is a piece of shit. Right. The little black boys is a piece of shit. That's her feeling. So educators like that
have the kids that don't look like her.
Exactly.
She needs to go.
Pathetic.
She needs to go.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So if y'all know Michelle Hollis, anybody in Tennessee, specifically Memphis, if y'all see a goddamn Michelle Hollis in the streets, I'm looking for her. Because Michelle, I done said it. I said it on social media already. I'm saying I'll talk that real shit. I am not talking bullshit here. If I find Trump, go get your ass beat. Now
we know a lot of folks.
And I'm laughing because we're telling the truth. Like
exactly.
People, if you know people in Memphis public schools, we need to look her up.
Yep.
Send the emails. It's deplorable. You can't have people like that teaching children, lowering the self-esteem of black children, especially black girls, to say that about Breonna Taylor. There's so many black people that have made those statements as well. Like, we have to do better for our black women.
Yeah, and that's why that's another reason why we have to protect black women. Vivette, her name is Michelle Hollis, Hollis.
The thing is that she thinks she had the right to say that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
This fake person on Pennsylvania Avenue has made it so that every non-person of color thinks they can say whatever they want, do whatever they want, react in whatever way they want, and they cool. But your day of reckoning is coming, because we're done. We're tired. We know people. People know people. Our network is too large.
That's right.
And the fact that don't act like don't let this resume, don't let LinkedIn fool you. I'm still from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
We specialize in let me stop before I have a case on me by the time we end this broadcast. So let's
that's all right. We gotta hold, this is about accountability, and we have to hold people to a higher level of accountability. So yes, that's the first call to action, because there will be a lot on this show today. And that's the first call to action. Let's reach out to Memphis Public Schools, and we need to hold her accountable to her sentiments, not just about Breonna Taylor, but about the black girls in her classroom and the other children that look like them and how she feels about them. So yes, we need everybody to take action. Go ahead right now and look it up on your computer, that 40 seconds that I wanted to just go ahead and put that in there. All right.
Yeah. And if y'all go to my Facebook page, I got her I'll put her email address up too, in case y'all, since she emailing people, I think it's only fair that we email her back. Clearly she wants some attention. But let's switch gears a little bit, y'all. So over the weekend, last night, they found Trump's receipts, y'all. They found his tax returns and they put him on blast. And come to find out, his bald-headed ass done only paid $750 in federal taxes. I spent more in Uber Eats last year. How do y'all feel about that?
It's deplorable, but I mean, it's to be expected. Like, we should not be shocked by any of this news that is coming out. We know the sentiment of white privilege to black, brown, and others, however you want to classify yourself. If you're not in the realm of white privilege, that's what you are to them. So we shouldn't expect that. What pissed me off the most is that I know other nonprofit leaders that we had to end up paying back taxes because how he changed the flow of what was being done, especially around what you give and what you do for your community. And so we're out here giving all that we can to do the things that his failed leadership is doing. And then you only paying $750. My students at Wendy's are paying more taxes than that.
Seriously.
All the teachers out there that have to pay for extra supplies for their classrooms. Many of them are spending more than $750. I'm like, why can't those teachers get some cash back or get a credit for having to spend money on their students? And
that's right. And for him, it's generational for him, right? Like the fraud is generational for him.
It is.
His father was doing fraud. He learned how to do it from an early age. He's been doing it for 30 years. That's why he was so afraid of the people all in his business. He made up so many excuses. But I'm happy that it's finally out there, even though he's still denying it. Yeah. But I'm happy that we can finally see, as the American people, what a fraud he is. He always talking about he's so rich and he got so much money. Well, you lying. You lying. Well, you know what? He might have a lot of money because he only pays $750 in taxes. Right. So he might have a bunch of money stashed somewhere. Not like the average person who can't even live on what we make and can't live on minimum wage. You know, out here struggling, and here he is bankrupting businesses left and right and only paying $750 in taxes.
But let me ask y'all this, because Across put in the comments, like, she basically trying to figure out how he did it. Like, is he a fraud, or do we got smart business people behind him that, you know, kept him from paying the max? Because a lot of people, like, I mean, we go see the arguments because the Republican Party go back him up. His supporters are gonna back him up. Like, nothing can sink Trump if you are a devout Trump supporter. And so this reveal of his tax returns is not going to hurt him. People are really going to defend the fact that, well, he's just a smart businessman. Which one is it? Is he a fraud or a smart? Well, we know he ain't smart, but does he have smart people behind him protecting his business?
He got smart people who know tax laws. He got smart accountants and people who could take that money and hide it and write it off, every little thing, write it off to a business tax, write it off to a business credit. He definitely has some smart accountants behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, he has a whole documentary on Netflix, I believe, that, I mean, it shows like interviews of people that work with him that he still hasn't paid from the 80s, like people that have, you know, helped him build his wealth, that he's never paid that debt. So this is a part of his history, like his legacy. He's done this in his business work, you know, so of course he's doing it with his taxes, and he's doing it with the, you know, politics of America. And what are we going to do about it? Is the bigger question.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's right there. All that tax money, like the reparations conversation could have just been, we could have been done with that.
But I mean, they're not trying to pay us reparations for real, you know. And then when you think about, I think, you know, we need to look at it from a perspective of when Trump is always talking about what's the new plan he coming out with? The Patriot, when he's talking about patriotism and how he loves America. You're not contributing to America because you're not paying your taxes. So meanwhile, we got to pay for schools, we got to pay for roads, we got to pay for buildings. Right. So you're not contributing to this country at all. So that's something that I would say as a pushback to how you love America and being a smart businessman, and that's how you avoided paying all these taxes. You're not put into the country that you love.
Right.
You know, but what's gonna really bother me is how the Democrats are about to conflate this information as a strategy to get Trump out. What do y'all feel about that? Because it's like in 2015 and 2016, he was accused of raping women. He was out there talking about grabbing WAP. If you don't know what WAP is, refer to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's latest song, and you'll find out what WAP is. I ain't gonna say it on the broadcast, but he was out here.
It's a good tune too, so go ahead and download it. Let's go ahead and support them. Go ahead and download it.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation about how people feel about WAP, the controversy behind it. So I'm not going to unpack that today, but we ain't got to get into it. But
hey, more power to whatever you know. Go ahead and download it. I'm support all Black women today. I don't give a fuck.
That's true. But can we talk about how, you know, the Democrats are going to use this, what Trump has done wrong strategy to try to get him out of office, and it's the wrong strategy? Can y'all dig into that a little bit?
I agree it's the wrong strategy because that is going to backfire on them. I honestly feel that using that information is going to backfire on them because, like all of you have said, and I agree with, we knew that he was hiding information. He's been hiding it for years. So it just came out, you know, not coincidentally or not, right before the election, right before this first debate. They're going to talk it up. Okay, Biden should say one thing and leave it alone. Because after that, it's just going to create a lot more of a smokescreen for him to be able to be reelected.
Right.
And we got to keep our eyes focused on the prize and try to do, you know, just try to stay away from the noise about that. It's going to be a lot of rhetoric. That's that's how I see it.
Now, what's the prize, Maritza?
The prize is getting him out. That's the prize. No matter what.
I hope y'all are taking notes and listening. That's the prize. Get him out. Okay.
Get him out.
Get that out.
Out of office, out of politics. Get his hand out the cookie jar. Good, but also get his hand out the cookie jar. Right. He don't have to be president. To still be out here dipping his hand in all kind of businesses. He got lots of business friends.
Yeah.
Lots of military money to be had. Like the prize is to get him out of office and to get his hand out the cookie jar.
Yeah.
So he ain't making no more money.
So I want to make this plug too. I wrote this down. I'm taking notes because I really want to make sure that we're elevating the voices of our guests who are Black, strong women today. I want to, go ahead while you are on your Apple Music, Monica Trenches, right?
Download WAP.
Now, let me tell you why I'm referencing this, because we are at war. We had an activist at the march on this past Friday, the People Uprising did here in Atlanta, organized by Black women, we as Black men, white allies, others who came out to support. We surrounded the Black women as they marched, and they blatantly and clearly and boldly said that we are at war. And so when you think about Trump, he's gang. That's like if you go into a war or a fight and you bring Brandy and Monica, and we putting up Brandy to go against this gang. We need Monica. We don't have the right people in place to go against him. If he is unaccountable about his taxes, this is the point that I'm making. Everybody around him is empowered to do the same thing. Right. He has his gang. He's a thug, y'all.
Yes,
he got his gang. He got his people in place. What are we doing? We sit up here, we're playing pretty, and we're going to do this. And no, y'all get out here and fight. We don't have time for this. Black people are fighting for their lives while white Democrats want to sit up here and be polished. And they want to be, we're going to take the hell, fuck the high road. We need y'all to get on the ground and save lives. And that's point blank, period.
That's right.
He's gang. He's a thug. And they playing pretty with him. Black women dying in the street. Okay, I'm done.
I mean, thugs, there are thugs out there that have, that have good morals and that want to take care of the community, and they're classified as a thug. And then you got your real thugs that's right. So we need somebody that looks like a thug and that can throw some thug punches at Trump. That's what we need. So I'm hoping, like I said, that I don't know if he's gonna have to get some sort of professional reading coach to help him.
Olivia Pope. I don't know.
Somebody. I mean, a gay man or somebody to teach him how to read. Because I mean, at this point in time, like we about to be. I'm like, don't let him choke on stage. That's my biggest fear about tomorrow. Like if he choke on stage, real. Got a few minutes of a few seconds of silence. I'm like, dang, you just missed that. That you should have hit him right there, but you didn't hit him. He might not know how to do it. So
but the problem is too with that is that if we go back and we talk about the Democrat strategy to constantly attack Trump, but when you look at it, they don't have a plan.
Exactly.
And so they count on us. They count on the people who are in the middle, and they count on Trump supporters to come our direction or come over to Joe Biden's side, based off the fact that Trump ain't shit. But
that's how we lost
this side. They don't have a plan, and so not only will we have this debate tomorrow in which Trump, he's an awful person, but he does know how to. He's shady as fuck. He knows how to throw shade. He knows how to read. Joe Biden don't know how to throw shade. He don't know how to read. And as far as I can tell, the Democrats don't have a plan, which they haven't had a plan, or they may have had a plan in the past that hasn't supported black communities. They don't have a plan to even counteract Trump's shadiness, his reads, and this latest plan that he put out for Black people. So let's talk about that a little bit, how the Democrats have failed our community. And when we talk about every 4 years, we get to a point when it's an election and we're disappointed in the choice of candidates. But at the same time, within that gap of those 4 years, we aren't working to groom people that are really going to represent us. And so we end up in these disappointing situations in which we got to vote for the lesser of two evils. So I know I just said a lot, but let's unpack all of that.
Yeah, you definitely.
Here we are again.
But that's why we have to also do what we need to do during the mid-years. Do what we have to do during the mid-years, because everything, just like everything trickles down, everything rises up. Yeah. So if we put people in office during the mid-years that we know will support us, those individuals that are on the ground with us, that have walked the streets with us, that have been to our neighborhoods, probably still live in our neighborhoods. I wouldn't trust anybody that I know has not walked these streets in North Philly. If you haven't walked around, I'm your constituent. If you haven't been around here to see my neighborhood, I don't want to hear nothing you have to say at one of your little voting rallies. I don't want to hear it. If you haven't been out here when kids are getting shot down, when schools are getting closed down, when people is doing whatever they want in these streets, and you're not advocating to clean these streets up and improve our schools and help our seniors, I'm not going to vote for you come the mid-years. So those people during the mid-years that we need to reinforce and help lift up, so that when the 4-year term comes for a new president, there are going to be a lot of people in the Senate and Congress, representatives are going to say, hey, we need to back this person. Regardless of what party you're a part of, we're going to back this person up, because we see them do the work, and they're going to help us fight for who we want for president.
Yeah. And that's always what you got to think about. Even in, like you said, local elections, who has a plan? That's always what I look for. Which one of these people has an actual plan that's going to move us forward, that's going to move our community forward, that's going to take the money and spend it the right way? I think for Democrats, I think for the last 4 years, we've been trying to hold on and fight for the plans that we already have that he keeps trying to dismantle. I'm not saying that that's an excuse for not creating new plans, but we did have plans on the books. We had a lot of things going on when Obama was president, and he took the last 4 years to try and dismantle every single thing that he did. So we really been focused on trying to stop the dismantling of the plans that we did put in place. But we do need to have a plan moving forward. I have noticed that on last debates and conversations. There is no plan for the Democrats, and we need one. The plan can't be just get Donald Trump out. The plan has to be, how do we all move the country forward? How do our elected officials move us forward as a country? But also take into account the people. Listen to us. Ask us what we want to do in our communities. We know what we want to do, especially local politics. Ask us. We live here. We know what we need in our communities. So start to ask the people who are representing for you and supporting you.
Yeah. So I wanna jump to a comment in the chat. Claus asked, so why do Dems deserve the black vote if they keep failing us? Why are we being forced to vote for failure? What y'all think about that?
I think that both parties are failing us, to be honest. I mean, it's a flawed system. Why is it 2020? I keep bringing up the year because I'm at a loss. Why are we still here in this 2020 in an era of technology that is so advanced, and we still have simply Democrats and Republicans? Neither one of them are doing anything for the black communities that I see. From the black communities that I support, neither one of them are doing anything yellow, red, black, and white. None of them. None of them are doing anything well-deserved. And then the ones who are trying to speak out, like a council member that we're having on the show next week, to push forward, public safety reform and, things for small business development, workforce development, affordable housing. You have the black Democrats on the councils across the nation that are not voting. They're not voting for it. Then they want to show these pictures of, oh, look at me. Oh, I'm helping you with your mask with COVID-19. And look at me with T.I. and Killer Mike giving away food. And look at me giving you. Why don't you give us some policies that protect our lives, that protect black women? Democrats, blackness, we so black, Atlanta City Council, Baltimore, down the line, they need to get it together. Sick of the Democrats, and I'm definitely sick of the Republicans.
The Republicans will stab us in the front. The Democrats will stab us in the back. You know what Malcolm X said about his about liberals. Like we shouldn't trust the liberals, and that's exactly what the Democrats are. So did we answer the question around why do they deserve our vote? Where's the hope?
They don't. I said that. They don't.
So but at this point it is, because it's a matter of, I don't know. It's like Trump is definitely the enemy. Trump is that person that's gonna stab us in the front. He's basically all out said, I don't give a damn about black people. I don't give a damn about Latinx people. I don't give a damn about nobody that don't look like me, that don't make my money. And so he's telling us through his actions, through his practices, through his policies. The Democrats are telling us that through code and language. And so how do we, and I know NPU has a Get Out, a GOTV campaign. I want y'all to talk a little bit about that. But how do we ensure or hold the Democrats accountable so that they can be the party that they say they want to be for us?
Yeah. I think if you look at traditionally the voting bloc that's voted for Democrats, you look at a lot of older people, right? I know in New Jersey, it's a lot of the older people who vote. You don't get a lot of the middle-aged people, the younger people. And in our communities, those chicken dinners go a long way, right? They show up with that chicken dinner. They show up with that bag of groceries, and the older people are going to vote. So I think that's why for a long time, people have just been voting generationally. It's like whoever your grandma tell you to vote for. If you don't get information, if you don't get the knowledge yourself about these people and what they're doing and what they're not doing for our community, then you're just going to blindly follow behind your family who has just blindly followed behind the Democrats forever. So we want to change that. We want to change that with the Every Family Votes, campaign. We want to make sure that families are having these conversations, real conversations, talking about things like, what plans do politicians have? What have they done for your community? What are they going to do for you? What's your self-interest? What matters to you? And vote for the person that matters to you. We know this country has always been ripe for politics and trying to find democracy in the world, but we need to make sure that families are getting excited about voting, that they're getting educated about voting, that we can actually measure in our communities how much we're doing in our communities, how many people are registering to vote, how many people are actually going out to actually cast that ballot, what it looks like in our state. Are you voting by mail? Are you able to vote in person? Like making sure that people have this education, and families really sitting around the dinner table, talking to everybody in your family, making sure that people can go out and vote. In a lot of states, a lot of people don't know that if they're convicted felons, they can still vote. As long as you're not on parole or probation, you can go out there and vote. So we have a toolkit that people can use for grassroots organizing. If they want to know how to have these conversations, they want to know how to organize people. Right now we're in COVID, so we're not doing a lot of door knocking, but we can do lit drops. Drop it on somebody's gate. Talk to folks when you're walking around your neighborhood. Just get the information out about what's happening. And don't just focus on the federal elections, right? We know that it's important to federal elections, but that's how they keep us blind to what's happening in our communities. They so focused on the federal, we're not focusing on what's happening in our states and in our local communities. Focus on your school board election. Focus on your governors, and especially focus on the judges. Focus on those judges and sheriffs that are being voted in your city. Pay attention to down ballot voting. It's important.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. With regards to why we support Democrats so much, I can speak personally. When my mother emigrated from Dominican Republic, and when she became a citizen, for her and for a lot of other people that come in from other countries, just the word democracy relates to Democrat for them. Right. So that is why they naturally gravitated to say, I'm gonna be a Democrat. But best believe I know quite a few Republicans that no matter what, they want to back Trump, even if it's being smacked in their head, everything that he is doing. Even though they are black and brown, they still say, I want to be Republican because he's helped me, because I have a higher income tax bracket. So he's helped me with my taxes. I have a very good childhood friend that lives in Georgia, and he and I are like this almost every day because he is a huge Trump supporter. And I said, okay, bro, I love you, but if you start talking about how much you support him, you're going to lose me. So that's just a topic we keep off the table to maintain our friendship of over 30 years. But that's what it's been historically. And I agree very much with what Tashria said. It is a legacy. It is historical. We have to make sure that we also encourage our millennials. We absolutely have to encourage our millennials. Anyone that's already 18, that just turned 18 this year, do not doubt that your vote is needed. Do not doubt that it will be counted. I mean, I know you guys are younger than me, so I'm going to age myself. I'm pushing 50. I'm knocking on 50. So I already know I've been through quite a few presidential elections. All these young folks, this is going to be their first time. And with the way it is in this country, with the turmoil and the injustices that are happening almost each and every single day, hell, in the city of Philadelphia, we already had over 365 killings. Over 365 killings. That means it's, more than once a day, someone has been murdered on these streets. Yes. So I want to know who's going to fight for that. What's their crime bill? What are they going to talk about for police reform? I'm not talking about, and I have family that's police. I'm not going to say, fuck the police. I can't say that because I have family members that are police officers. Right. But I can say they need to reform. For the bad apples, get them out. For the good ones, continue to support them and uplift them and give them the courage to keep on doing what they're doing and trying to keep the streets safe all across the country. That's good.
The thing is like I've heard black and white police officers actually say that they want reforms too. So this is not like go and ask the police officers that are on these communities. But like, yeah, I do think that we need to have a number for mental health, so we can have somebody come out there and help somebody that has mental health instead of triggering them and traumatizing them further and taking them to jail because they don't belong there. They need to be getting treatment for their mental health.
I just want to go ahead. Well, Tanisha, I just wanted to add this to the conversation in regards to how we educate people about voting. Most schools do one grade level of citizenship, which really breaks this down. And that is a major part. Social studies in every grade level, pre-K to 12th grade, they're not talking about this process, the political process every grade year. It may be one grade level that does this. And so I'm adding this to the conversation because we need to empower Black females who are saying, listen, it starts with how we're educating our communities and our schools. That means Black females have the highest percentage, the highest numbers of educators of color in this field. We have to listen to Black women, Black female leaders. It took a Black female, Christina Guillen, who was my former school leader that I had the honor of working with. And she has the state of Georgia's first non-suspension school. Wow. It was a Black woman that did that. When we have known for decades that Black boys in particular, are disproportionately displaced out of public schools, but it took a Black woman to design this school. But we're not listening to Black women who are running for school boards, who are building their own schools, who are saying, hey, look at us. We are saying the injustices are happening. We need you to vote. We need you to get engaged. And I want to draw the conversation a little bit back to the power of Black women and the things that Black women are saying that, hell, they need to be done. And it's like, we know what needs to be done, but we're not listening to the people who are telling us how we can do it and why.
Right. Yeah. So far we have protect Black women.
Yes.
Listen to Black women. If you don't know what WAP is, go find WAP and listen to it. Those are the things that
download. We got to support Black female entertainers.
Black women. Plenty more to come. So I know. I just want to ask Maritza and Tafshir. I don't know why I'm just hella tongue tied today. Please excuse me. I had a lot of mimosa yesterday. That's probably like leftover mimosa. I want to touch, since we touched on the subject of police reform. I want to ask y'all opinion on SROs in schools. How y'all feel about that?
They need to go.
They need to go. Okay. There's so many more ways that you can have more counselors. You can have more programs in school that don't lead to suspension. There's never been proven that having SROs in school has made any kid safer. Look at all the unfortunately, the schools that have people come and shoot them, the SROs, they haven't made those schools safer. They haven't made the environment comfortable for families or for students. I've seen so many, families get harassed by the SROs just trying to come into their kid's school. They just want to come in and see what's going on with their kid in the classroom. They get harassed at the door. They get disrespected at the door. The kids get disrespected. They get arrested. They just make them feel like they're nothing. And they need to go. There are so many other programs that we could implement into schools to make sure that kids are learning. And SROs, they don't do anything to heighten the education process, right? Like, they don't help the kids learn. So really, what is the point? We need to just adopt more programs to make sure that the kids are safe in schools and just get rid of these SRO programs.
Let me do devil's advocate real quick and throw this out, because this is kind of what we're seeing in Chicago. In Chicago, we're seeing local school councils, which are kind of an elected body of community representation for each school in each neighborhood. Local school councils in Chicago are in predominantly high crime or Black and brown communities are voting to keep SROs compared to white communities that are voting to remove them. And some of the things that we've heard is that the SRO has, serves multiple roles. So they may be the gym teacher as well as the SRO. They may have a rapport with students. They may, they may have a program. Like, I've seen some police officers themselves that have youth outreach programs. And so how do y'all feel about that, about SROs who do contribute positively to a school environment?
If they help with the school, if they help keep the peace, because I've seen it. I now work in a school. Even though the schools are closed, we've had parents come in there that have been out of control with their own behavior. So if it's to keep people safe, I'm in agreement. But when it's a child that's going through some kind of crisis, we don't know what kind of evening or what kind of morning a child has had that shows up at a school in crisis, behaviorally, emotionally. So yes, that is when a social worker, a counselor, a case manager should step in. They should not be handcuffed. They should not be manhandled. They should not be gripped up and shoved into another room so nobody can see them. No, that's where I would draw the line and say, no, we don't need them for that. But when it comes to keeping the peace and keeping outsiders that are aggressive and intent on doing harm or getting up in someone's face by walking into the school and bringing that aggression and danger in there, yeah, that is their place for that. But for children that come into the school in crisis, or maybe something happens while they're in school throughout their school day that has them, you know, a lot of kids suffer from PTSD, and something going on in the school may trigger that and put them in that state of aggression and anxiety. That is when the counselors and the social workers and those teachers and adults that have that good rapport with those children need to be brought in to help. Don't bring in the police to help with that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a mental health crisis.
That's good.
Yes.
What's their training look like?
Yes.
You know, a lot of them are ex-police officers, or their initial training is to restraint, right? To put the kids under restraint or to treat them terribly. They need SEL training, right? Social emotional learning training. So they could learn how to deal with the things that are happening with the kids instead of their go-to, you know, move is always to be violent towards the kids. So if you had them all trained the same way, make sure they have more SEL, make sure they're looking at it from a holistic perspective, then they would be effective. Otherwise, they're just trained to automatically be violent towards the kids, and that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add this to the conversation because I've heard and looked at the comments, and a lot of Black females are saying that SROs need to go out of the schools. How do we do that? We need to strike a balance. There are some schools that have SROs that serve multiple roles in the school, and it's needed. And so how do we come up with a happy medium? I want to put this out here that, you know, working in a school that had students with all IEPs, we had trainings just like the police officers did around desensitizing or de-escalating situations that were highly sensitive, that were highly fragile people of state of minds, that were highly fragile. And those trainings are being done. Who is doing the training and providing it is what needs to be changed. And so what I would urge parents to do, as Black females are saying, SROs need to be pushed out of schools. We need to look at the budget. In Gwinnett County, for example, $2 million for SROs, but they don't have enough Black teachers. They don't have a Black curriculum. We need to defund the police. Defund does not mean get rid of. It means take a lot of those resources that you are using to hire a large amount of officers to go into a community or a school and revert those to nonprofit programs that a lot of Black females are running, who are saying, we don't need police officers. You need my program, baby, in your school to reach these parents and these kids. So if Black females are saying, get police out of schools, I have a solution, then we need to look at the solution. So here's the call to action. Email your school board. Email your school board members and say, listen, I want to get an open records request of how much money you are spending on SROs. Then I want to know, what are their role in the school? Are they just there to police? Are they running some type of alternative program that is providing a program that is helping change behaviors? Are they working in the community? If they're not doing that, then we want those funds moved to this type of program. It should be focused on policy and partnerships, because that's how we're going to get the promise deserved to our children. Black women are saying they want it. God damn it, we need to get it for them. And that's how I think we can do it.
Let's go, Reverend Allen. You said that shit.
We got to do it. I mean, I don't want us to just talk about the atrocities that have happened to Black women. We have seen this decade after decade, from generation. We have to stand together and do it for Black women who are constantly on the front line. Black women have been on the front lines for all of us. For every movement, Black women have been there, and we need to be there for Black women, period.
As a Black woman, I agree with you.
I second. And
I'm hoping everybody watching is like, okay, how can we get these call to actions? Black women are saying this is what we need to do. Let's do it, y'all.
Yeah,
they feeling you. They feeling you.
Say, go to these school boards. They're budgeting. Get it on that budget. See how much is being spent. Speak up. Come in groups. come together. Y'all know how we like to go out to brunch and go out to movies and come to the school board meetings. Make your voices heard.
Right.
Make your presence heard. Show up.
So real quick, y'all, I wanted to because the theme of the conversation today, even though we've been talking that real shit, we've been going everywhere. It's about, the title is "Fuck Y'all Table, We Build Our Own." And so I kind of want to ask y'all about how National Parents Union is building y'all own table in terms of addressing these issues and, encouraging families to vote and just transforming education and politics overall. It's like, talk a little bit about the work that y'all doing outside of the Every Family Votes campaign. That's what it's called, right?
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Every family votes. Yes.
Every single one. You want to go ahead, Marissa? You want to get started?
Where can I start? I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know so many things we've done.
Oh my goodness. Well, since the first convening back in January, which was amazing, and it was, National Parents Union was formed. The work started. It was halted a little bit with COVID, but through virtually, we have been able to get things done. And we have the Parents' Bill of Rights that breaks down what every parent should have in front of them when they're demanding equitable education for their children and their families. We are looking into several policy changes. We are forming alliances with several high-powered politicians that are like-minded, or we're trying to convince them to be like-minded as us in what we're demanding as far as policy changes for education across this country. We have formed committees that deal with testing, not only the testing that has to happen every year, the standardized tests around school, even with COVID testing that's happening around this country with regards to making sure people are safe. Every single committee that has been formed, and there are so many aside from the voting committee, the policy committee, the education committee, we've been doing polls. Polls have been done for the past 6 months, asking the important questions. And with that information, that is what we have been able to use as proof when we are going in front of these high-powered, educated politicians that are saying they're representing us and know more, that know the best thing for us. We've been coming to them with numbers, because numbers talk. That's and right. It's not just about the rhetoric; it's about the numbers that we've been able to compile with the information needed to demand what we need with regards to education, and not just the education in, it's not just private, public, it's all, and it covers every aspect, not just for the children that are, that have IEPs, but it's also for the gifted and talented children as well. We are fighting for all of them to get what they need. And right now during this time of COVID, what's also been a big fight is to make sure that children get back to school in a safe manner. Yes, we would all love our children to be in schools, but if it's not safe, we've been demanding certain things. We've been providing information that can be used for those school board meetings when our parents the ones that our parents should be going to, for those audiences in front of congressmen and senators and state representatives. These are our families. We are helping them speak in multiple languages to make sure that they understand that they are being represented in what we want to fight for. Let's go to the Capitol. That's right.
Let's do it. We're the authentic voice.
Go ahead, Toya. Let's go to Harrisburg.
That's right.
Go to Trenton. Go to wherever your state
National Week of Action. All right, let's go.
Listen, let's do it. Let's do it. Right. And one thing, because I see our time is running short. We're talking about voting, family, the census.
Yes. Go ahead. That was my public service.
I was going to hit a hard left there next.
Listen, you already know. In Philly, I'm what's called a census champion. I took the training so that I can be able to debunk all the rumors and all the lies and, what matters and what does not matter. We don't care about your citizenship or your status. They don't care about your income. All they want to know is how many people are in that home.
House. That's it.
That's it. In the city of Philly, I don't know about your prospective cities. In the city of Philadelphia, every number counted equates to $21,000 over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Cities are losing billions of dollars
on important programs.
Yeah, and fortunately, it was supposed to stop in 2 days, but fortunately, there was a judge that said, "Nah, Mr. Trump, we're gonna extend it for another 30 days. So until October 31st,
October 31st,
make it count.
Yes.
Count your family, please." One thing I did also find out for us: let's say you don't do it, and you live in a predominantly white neighborhood. Guess how they're gonna count you? They're not gonna count you as black. They're gonna say in this whole block, if it's all white folks and that one black family that lives in there, they don't do their census, they're not gonna get counted.
They're not counted. That's right.
And this is affecting not only Pell Grants, school lunches, Head Start, housing.
That's right.
This is affecting the fire departments. This is affecting everyone. You know, monies that are being allocated for better education to build more schools.
Right.
That's good.
Additional lawmakers.
Let us
get additional lawmakers.
If we don't count the numbers, they're gonna say, "Oh, they don't need that many." They might even reduce
Say it louder. Say it louder for the people in the back. Say it louder.
Listen, we need more representation. So if your numbers aren't counted where you live, they may say you don't need as many.
That's right. I also want to point out for some of these states, New Jersey successfully passed a gerrymandering law last year, thank God. And that is for people who are incarcerated people are counted in the census in the county that they are incarcerated in the city they are incarcerated in, which brings up the numbers, especially in New Jersey. We have a lot of incarcerated people in a lot of white areas, and that's just bringing up their numbers. It's giving them extra money. It's giving them extra lawmakers. Thankfully, New Jersey passed a law. So the people who are incarcerated are counted in the city that they come from. Thank God, because that has been a problem for years. So if that's happening in your state, fight to get that taken away. Fight to make sure that the people who are incarcerated are counted in the city that they originated from or that they're coming home to. We need to count those hundreds of people in jail in our cities. They don't need to be counted in the white city they locked up in. They need to be counted in the city they're coming from.
All jails, county and
all of them.
You know, your local jail. Tanisha, I want to just plug this right quick. We said every family votes. Now, every family counts, and we have to count in the census. I know a lot of organizations are really doing great work around this, but it impacts schools, guys, community centers, nonprofits, churches. I wanted to add those parts as well because we have a lot of Black women who are leading these initiatives, again, who know what needs to be done in the community. It brings to mind Casey Vinings, who we're going to have on our town hall this evening, that is a nonprofit leader and has been out here begging for funding because our city council did not do what they needed to do. They did not push the census the last time like it should have been. And so now we have nonprofit leaders that are doing the work that don't have the resources for us. So here's our call to action. Text, email, call, post. It's my2020census.gov. I went through it, did the training. I went through the website just before. I said, I want to make sure because, you know, people will try to use any excuse. And guys, here's the deal. We're in advanced technology era. If people can order Jordans, if they can order Porsche sheets offline, then you can do the census on your phone or on a laptop, or someone can help you. So here's what I need everyone, even if you've done it, here's what you can do. Text, email, call, not call. Well, yeah, you can call people. Let me take that back. Call and post my2020census.gov. Everyone can do that. Reach out to your family members, your church members, your sorors, your fraternity brothers, your co-workers, your neighbors. Text, email, call my2020census.gov.
Can I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
There are people walking around neighborhoods with a Census ID badge, a U.S. Census Bureau badge, wearing a face mask, holding a little iPhone. They're called enumerators. They're going door to door for those homes that did not complete the census. I did it for a few weeks. I stopped because it wasn't safe. I didn't consider it safe because they were sending us out by ourselves. But if you see somebody knocking on your door, that is why. Just do it. It literally just takes 10 minutes to get it done.
Or less.
Not even that. 5 minutes.
It's not even that. 5 minutes. And you may get a knock about your neighbor. All they want to know is, do you know how many people live in that house?
Right.
Yep.
That information, people are made to swear an oath to not divulge any personal information. But this information is needed to make the numbers count. So please do it.
So how do we kind of disseminate the information or disseminate this message in our communities? Because there have been, I know in Chicago personally, there have been so many outreach efforts, and it's still so many people that haven't done the census. How do we communicate this message in a way that it resonates? Because I know that money piece is important. It's like, y'all, we don't do this, we go be absent millions of dollars to our community.
Billions
so is that
of dollars.
the message? How do we disseminate that message?
Find out what the dollar amount is for every person.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been saying. Every person that's not counted is missing $21,000.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Over 10 years.
A strategy that was used in Atlanta for voting, the strippers all came together and did an ad about voting. It had everybody talking about voting. Everyone was talking about voting. People who had already registered, and people were like, "Oh, I watched it," and it was a constant message of register to vote, go vote, know who you voting for. The same thing over and over and over. So again, listen to Black women. Black women are telling us what to do. They're telling us how to do it. We need to get to these studios. We need to get to the skating rink. Every time they play a song, make sure you take the census. Make sure you register to vote. New track. Let's go.
Saturate.
Make sure you take the census. Make sure you go to vote. Next song. Like, we have to go to where the people are. People are gathering. They in the parks. They in the skating rinks. They in the clubs. They at work. They at school. So we need to get to where the people are by any means. Malcolm said it best. By any means necessary.
Hey,
we got Cardi B. What if we got Cardi B to like Cardi B is supposed to be a political face now? What if we got her to advertise it or do a WAP remix talking about the census? That would be dope.
That would be dope. I hope somebody who connected to her is
Cardi right now. I know she's going through with her divorce, but somebody tweet at Cardi and tell her to get on this census message.
Yeah,
that's the call to action right there. After you download WAP, you message her and ask her, can she do a remix for the census and voting? Right now, imagine if we had hundreds of people doing that.
Jason,
how the world would
be. Ma'am, it's the remix is ma'am missing ass money if we don't do the census.
I like it. I like it. And for all these cities that have this extra money in Newark, they're sitting on the steps of City Hall. They're giving out ShopRite gift cards, like food store gift cards to come down and fill out the census. People walking by, people showing up. I know they got this extra money they can use. Like, find creative ways to engage people in the census, to engage people in voting. Just find these creative ways to get it done. Because there's always a way to get it done. You just got to stay on it and saturate your messaging in your city.
Absolutely. It's football season. All these football fans that are missing football, they still out there tailgating at their respective stadiums. Go out there.
Right in the parking lot.
Go out there. Right in the parking lot. Just go out there and pass out the registration, slips. Let them know about the census. Say, hey, you did it yet? Get it done.
So what if we committed to all of us on this panel and everybody that's in the chat? What if we committed to a national census outreach day in our communities, in which all of us we picked a day and we use that day to stomp the grounds and just get people not register, but get people to complete the census.
To complete it.
I think that would be great.
We always about action.
I'm in.
So.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
Go to the areas where are being overlooked.
Yep.
Make an impact. Yes, partner with other people.
Yep. Everybody, TDRS and NPU are committing to taking a day to go out and stomp the streets to get people to complete the census. So if y'all are interested, hit us up. Y'all have our Facebook pages. A lot of y'all following us and we all connected. So we go talk about this. We're not dropping this issue because we want we don't want no ma'am situation. We don't want no missing ass money. So
I like that one. And for voting, make sure that you're educating yourself. Go to your local website for your state. Find out when is the last day to register. Find out what kind of voting you have. In New Jersey, we have 4 different ways. We have so much misinformation. We have 4 different ways to actually vote. So there's no excuse, New Jersey. We got 4 different ways. Like, get the information that you need. Pay attention to what's going on. Vote locally, vote your federal elections. So just one more thing I wanted to add about the National Parents Union, in addition to what we've been doing across the countries, we are the authentic voice of parents, right? We have real parents. These are real parents who have these real experiences that are part of our organization. who are sharing their stories across the country in publications, sharing them in their communities. They're doing grassroots. You know, when membership is now open, go to our site and please sign up as a member. We need thousands and thousands of parents to be part of this organization, because that's what they're afraid of, right? They want to keep us in silos. They want to keep us in our states, only out here fighting for what's happening in our states. They don't want to see 10,000 parents show up to DC to vote. Exactly. They don't want to see 5,000 parents show up to these state houses together. And that's what we bring. We bring that large community of authentic voices of parents together, and we're going to fight together. We'll fight for you locally. We'll fight for you nationwide, but we have to come together and do it. And let's make them scared. Let's make them scared of so many parents coming together to organize.
I know. For the people in the back.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Come together. Join the National Parents Union. It's national. We are across the country.
That's key.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. This was so great.
Yeah, y'all. I just want to, anybody got any blank coat? Anybody got any closing thoughts we want to end the show with?
Well, you know,
Top Shit said it.
Stop bullshitting and get it done. Just get it done.
That's Seriously. It. There's nothing else that can be said after that.
I do have a public service announcement, though. I have one more, y'all. I got to make this public service announcement. Ladies, first of all, it was an honor having you guys on. And I hope you check your email, because I am holding you to helping some parents locally to organize. Yeah. Let me just go ahead and say that anyone interested in connecting, guys, you can reach me at Atlanta. And if you're about the work, we'll get you connected. I do want to say this, though, and continuing the conversation about elevating the voices of Black females. On this evening, Neo and I will be hosting Lifting the Voices of Black Females at 6 p.m. It's a virtual town hall where we will hear from Black moms, Black teachers, Black women who are running for school board that are like, we're sick of this and we want to make change. Activists who are doing the work in the community, and we want to uplift their voices, their calls to action, giving strategies of what needs to be done. So that's at 6 p.m. It'll be powered through the Black Wall Street Times and also Atlanta. And, you know, check out, Tanisha, that last piece that you wrote. I really, really hope that people are reading, because my last point was going to be every Black family reads. Please, y'all, we have so much information out here from fellow activists. You know, I'm going to keep highlighting Tanisha, because that last piece that she wrote on Breonna, y'all, is so dope. I'm encouraging educators to share that, and, you know, let your students in middle school and high school read it, because we have to empower them to get engaged now. So we hope you check out the event this evening. I look forward to seeing you all, and continue to elevate and uplift the voices of Black women, not just today, not just this week, but moving forward. That needs to be a new state of being.
Thank you.
Power to the people. That's right.
Did you want to say something? You good?
Did you say Neo? Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, I thought I heard you trying to get in early. Okay. Well, y'all, that's it. Y'all heard Jason elevate the voices of Black women, listen to Black women, protect Black women, get on our shit. We go petition Cardi B to make ma'am.
Yes.
To follow up to WAP.
That's right.
And just to go back to, again, to elevate the voices of Black women and protect Black women, and just listen to Black women. Black women lead. So again, I want to shout out Maritza and Tafshir for y'all dynamic work, and for being just dynamic women, and y'all voices and y'all power, and for telling it like it is, and, you know, doing the work that y'all do. So thank y'all so much for coming on today and telling us what we need to do, you know, as far as voting, as far as advocating for our kids in the public school system. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you to National Parents Union. Y'all are powerful. This is the first authentic and grassroots organizing body of parents that we've seen in a long time doing the real work, because y'all know it's a lot of frauds out there. So y'all be on the lookout for that information around that national census organizing day that we're going to do. But until then, y'all be good, stay safe, listen to and protect Black women, and we'll catch y'all next Monday on Talk That Real Shit. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we out. Y'all have a good week.
Thank y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.